Welcome back, everyone, to this Explainer by Forge College. I am incredibly excited to be with you today. Today, we're tackling error handling, security, and compliance for CCTP transfers. This is a crucial piece of our broader course on cross-chain transfers with Circle CCTP, fitting right into the stablecoins, payments, and real-world assets track on Solana. Now, in our last lesson, we covered implementing a basic bundler queue, and we laid down some really fantastic groundwork there to get our transactions moving smoothly. But, today, we're putting on our hard hats, we're stepping out of the safety of our local environments, and taking on the wild, unpredictable reality of production networks. We're going to learn exactly how to harden these CCTP flows, because by the end of this, your transfers are going to be absolutely bulletproof. Let's get into it. So here is our master schematic index for today. We'll be going through, exploring the unhappy path, common transfer failure modes, the power of idempotency, smart retries and backoffs, audits and reconciliation, and finally, the final debug report. Get ready, because we are going to learn how to conquer the chaos of network failures. Section 1. Exploring the unhappy path. Okay, let's dive right into this because it is officially time to leave our comfort zone. We've successfully parsed attestations on the happy path where everything works perfectly the very first time. But we really need to face reality here. In your ideal developer environment, you hit enter, things happen instantly, and it's beautifully deterministic. It's safe, it's predictable, but in the real world? Yeah, that's where attestations arrive notoriously late. It's where webhooks get retried completely out of order, and where race conditions are basically just waiting around every corner to completely ruin your day. It is pretty brutal out there, but that is exactly what we are going to engineer around today. Section 2. Common transfer failure modes. Now, before we can build up our defenses, we actually need to know what we're defending against, right? So, let's put on our troubleshooting hats. Here are the 4 horsemen of transfer failures. This is exactly where the machinery usually breaks down in production. First up, network timeouts. Your RPC node just decides to stop talking to you. Second, duplicate attestations, which is where the network aggressively sends you the exact same data twice. Third, missing attestations, where messages just vanish entirely into the void. And fourth, definitely the absolute worst one, partial on-chain state updates. That's where only half of your transaction actually succeeds. If we aren't incredibly careful, these scenarios cause those dreaded incorrect state changes. I mean, imagine accidentally minting funds twice. Literally a nightmare. Section 3. The power of idempotency. And this brilliantly illustrates how we stop that double minting nightmare, an idempotency key. Actually, in a lot of the other Web3 programs we run over at Forge College, we see developers constantly running into these exact duplication bugs. That's why mastering idempotency isn't just optional, it is for sure your first major line of defense. An idempotency key is simply a unique identifier that guarantees an operation is processed exactly one time, no matter how many times the trigger gets pulled. Think about ordering a pizza online. If your Wi-Fi lags and you angrily click that order button 3 times, the idempotency logic on the restaurant's server makes sure you only get charged for and delivered a single pizza. It protects the system from our impatience, or, in the case of Web3, it protects from network retries. So how do we actually build that? Well, here is our technical ledger, our database claim process. We insert a row into our transfer events table with a unique constraint firmly placed right on the attestation ID. So if 2 webhooks fire at the exact same millisecond trying to claim the same transfer, they collide right here at the database level. One succeeds and the other is instantly rejected. This simple schema is the exact mechanism that prevents a catastrophic double mint on the Solana blockchain. Section 4. Smart retries and backoffs. Okay, so once we've safely claimed the attestation in our database, meaning no duplicates allowed, what happens if our external call to the Solana RPC node times out right after? Well, we handle these transient, temporary errors using a retry with backoff wrapper. The philosophy here is absolutely critical. We want our external calls to be retriable so our application can survive temporary network blips. But, and this is a massive but, we never want to blindly reapply side effects forever. We need to be smart about it, capping our attempts and spacing them out. Using an exponential curve means if attempt 1 fails, we wait 1 second. Attempt 2 fails, we wait 2 seconds. By attempt 3, we're waiting 4 seconds. We're giving the network time to breathe and recover, instead of aggressively hammering a struggling RPC node. It's polite to the network, and honestly, it keeps your system from completely overwhelming itself. Section 5. Audits and reconciliation. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is that we are crossing the bridge from pure engineering right into operations and compliance. It is not just about making the code work, it's about proving how and why it worked, or, why it didn't. An audit log is a continuous, immutable stream of structured JSON entries that records literally every single processing attempt. Why? Because structured audit logging isn't just a nice-to-have engineering feature. It is a massive, non-negotiable business requirement for compliance, especially when you start dealing with merchant payment flows and real-world assets. To reconstruct exactly what happened when a transfer goes wrong, we need these critical fields. Event time tells us when it happened. Attestation ID tells us what was actually being transferred. The handler version is crucial, like did the code change yesterday? And then the status and the exact error message complete the puzzle. Because if a merchant calls you asking where their USDC is, this structured record is your ultimate source of truth. But what do we actually do with all those logs when something inevitably gets stuck? We use reconciliation. Think of this script as your system's digital janitor. It wakes up every few minutes, sweeps through the database looking for stale processing or failed records, checks the actual Solana blockchain to see what really happened, and then safely heals those inconsistent records. It keeps your off-chain database perfectly mirrored with the immutable on-chain history. Section 6. The final debug report. So the crucial point here is that this loop is the actual artifact you'll be building in this lab. It's a 4-step debugging loop. First, reproduce the anomaly in a safe environment. Second, diagnose it by capturing your database state and those structured logs we just talked about. Third, apply the fix, so your idempotency guards and backoffs. And fourth, reconcile the system to heal any broken data. This loop is literally the absolute minimal operational discipline required before you even think about connecting to live merchant systems. And mastering that loop is going to pay off immediately. Coming up next, we're going to be applying these hardened handlers to Solana Pay fundamentals and USDC merchant payment flows. Why does today's explainer matter? Because these exact patterns for predictability, auditability, and failure handling are going to be directly reused in synchronous payment requests and refund paths in our very next module. You are literally building the foundation right now for everything else in the Solana DeFi ecosystem. I want to leave you with a provocative thought here. Your off-chain CCTP flow might be bulletproof today, but if the Solana network undergoes a major upgrade tomorrow, is your idempotency logic truly immutable? It's something every great engineer really has to constantly evaluate. If you found this explainer fascinating and you want to dive deeper, make sure to visit forge.college to master more Web3 subjects. Keep building, keep questioning, and I will see you in the next explainer.